Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ian Faison with Vetrepreneur. Today, I am joined by three amazing gentlemen: Mike Allard, the CEO of Homebase program; Chris Goslin, advisor at Hyperloop and Scout Ventures fellow; and Jeremy Hitchcock, the founder at Dine. What's going on, gents?
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. So today we're here to talk about the VeteranCards. These three guys are all involved in the making of that, and I want to just jump right into it. Chris, so what are the VeteranCards?
So the VeteranCards are a deck of cards that we put together to not only give people the opportunity to obviously play with the cards, but if you lay them out and you look at the cards, the suits are broken down into the 4 different branches of the Defense Department, and it's essentially a map of the veteran entrepreneurship community.
You know, one of the things when we first started talking that was so interesting was kind of this creative spin on the deck of cards that we used during the Iraq War for vets, and kind of taking that and looking at it and turning it into a positive and say, hey, you know, if we used to do that back then, now we're using this for, you know, demonstrating the creativity and innovation of veteran entrepreneurs. How'd you kind of get started thinking about this?
So actually, the first time Jeremy and I met, and we met through one of the board members and advisors of Mike's nonprofit, we met and we discussed, the conundrum of the veteran entrepreneurship community, and nobody knows that better than you, Ian. And so Jeremy was kind of perplexed about why there is some confusion and why it's not better known. And just through talking, Jeremy kind of brought up this deck of cards idea, and then we just kind of spitballed from there. It was a natural fit because the 4 different suits obviously correspond very nicely with the 4 different branches of the military. And we just kind of iterated from there. And we talked to people like you and my other friends that are veterans. I'm an Air Force veteran, and people just really liked it from the beginning, and I just got emails this morning of people asking, where's my deck of cards? So I think people are ready for this, and as you know, Ian, people are ready for a positive story right now in this time in our country, and there's no better story to tell than the veteran entrepreneurship story and just how successful this very small population of our country has been.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's really interesting how much and how quickly you got feedback on the VeteranCards as you started to sending out. Were there any surprises that you saw from the community? I know that there's a lot of people that wish that they were, everybody wants to be the the ace of spades or the ace of hearts, but were there any other surprises that you saw?
So I'll tell you 2 stories really quickly. One of the guys that's actually in the deck, he's a friend, he's in Silicon Valley, and I reached out to him and tell him about it, and I said, hey, you're the only startup in the deck that your other co-founder is actually in the deck as well for your specific branch. And he's like, oh, well, what's my rank? And I told him, and his co-founder was 1 ahead of him in that specific branch. And he was like, hey, I own more equity in the company. Why am I not there? And I was like, because his title is higher than yours, and that's how the ranking system worked. And we obviously don't know the equity that you hold in your private startup. And he was a little pissed, but he thought it was funny. And so there's some controversy sometimes, but it's all in fun and games. So I think it'll be all right. And on the converse side, Friday I had the opportunity to meet with General Petraeus and told him a little bit about the work that we've done to corral the veteran entrepreneurship community and help find new ways to support mainly capital and resources, and the struggles that veteran entrepreneurs have and why we should have more of them, and the numbers are declining. And I took the deck of cards out of my pocket and I gave it to him, and he looked at it perplexed for a minute, and then I told him that he was the wild card in the deck, and he just lit up like a little kid, and he took the deck of cards, he took a picture with me and in the card that he holds in the deck, and he gave me his card, and he was really excited about it. So he's obviously one of the highest ranking members in the deck, and with his positive feedback, it gives me a lot of encouragement that I think this will help us tell the story that needs to be told.
That's great. So switching gears, Jeremy, you're an extremely successful entrepreneur. You're not a veteran, but you've built an amazing business in Dine. What was it that so interested you as you started these conversations about the veteran entrepreneur community, and kind of what have you seen so far?
Well, first off, I'm humbled to be here as a member of the civilian ranks, and met Chris, and we were talking about just the joys of entrepreneurship and building companies. And one of the things that I'm most proud of at Dine is our affinity that we had to people and culture, and getting to know people, and just how teams work together. Because a lot of these tech companies, yes, we celebrate the really cool technology, but really in the end, it's people working together day in, day out to solve problems, adapt to adversity in the marketplace, and really try to do something great for customers. And I was actually floored about the number of people who have former military service, who have done such great things in the business community, and wanted to find some way to help celebrate that entrepreneurship. And I think this is, with Chris's unbelievable energy and his inspiration, and it was his idea anyway. We came up with this concept and started talking to some people, and it snowballed, and here we are not that long after. And I really feel passionate that it's something that even non-vets will find really intriguing, that there's such a large group and so much success in this deck. Yeah,
so as kind of the military community is so, tight knit, and even we don't know necessarily all of our own stories, for you and kind of in your kind of personal and professional network, do you think that this story and these cards will really resonate with folks that maybe don't necessarily know like the creativity and innovation of entrepreneurs that have military experience?
Yeah, I think so. And having worked with and employ a lot of veterans, our head of product at Dine is a nuclear engineer, was a nuclear engineer on a submarine, and he couldn't talk about a lot of his experiences, but he said, go read this book, Blind Man's Bluff. And it gave us a way to communicate some of the struggles and some of the things he saw, and it just increased the relationship and the bandwidth that we had to do great things. Two grandfathers that served in the Navy. So, I mean, everybody's touched in many ways about the service and the dedication. And so I thought this was just a really cool way to thank people in a different way and celebrate a lot of the great things.
Do you have and I should say it's VeteranCards.co as the plug there for Chris here. Do you have a favorite one that you saw of the cards, or is it just kind of all of them that are pretty cool and inspiring?
Oh, they're all really cool. I think it'd be tough to pick favorites because it's a very competitive group, and to Chris's point, you have a group of people who believe in trying to be the best, and it was probably challenging to pick that ace, to pick that king, and heaven forbid we mention somebody who's left out, but there's always next year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Business is fluid, and there is always next year. So Mike, what you're doing specifically in the veteran and military community is really, really interesting, and it's kind of a creative spin or a creative way to approach some of the hardest problems that we face as vets. Tell us a little bit about Homebase and what you're working on, and to let everyone know, Mike's nonprofit is going to receive the profits of these cards, and it's going to go towards his charity here. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So first of all, I'm very grateful for the opportunity for Homebase to be able to receive these funds. In many ways, what Chris and Jeremy are trying to do here is extend the visibility and the connectivity of veterans in our community, which many people know and realize that less than 1% of this generation of veterans has served. And oftentimes what we have come to know from the World War II generation as the greatest generation there, we've got a next new generation that are among us. And what they're trying to do is bring that visibility and foster that connectivity so that we can build out collectively, both those who have served and have not served, a much bigger enterprise for the betterment of our country. For Homebase, we are the first and the largest private sector program in the country that is serving post 9/11 veterans and their family members who have been impacted by the invisible wounds of war. everything that we do at no cost to our veterans and their family members. And we've been able to combine both the Red Sox Foundation and Mass General Hospital, two of the best sort of local area programs in the country, to deliver meaningful healthcare results to veterans and their family members after 15 years of war, and wars that have impacted us in signature ways that we hope, as we deliver this care and innovation in terms of methodologies and approaches to providing care, that veterans and families can thrive. And you know, we know that our veterans are particularly resilient after such a long back and forth between deployments. It is very understandable that folks are impacted. And so with the private sector solution that we bring, we think we can have much more meaningful results to, frankly, launchpad so much of this next generation into a new era.
And I love the approach of, you know, focusing on the ability to thrive. And I think one of the things that we really care about is, you know, how do we get veterans that have any type of, you know, mental or physical wounds, you know, back into creative positions, back into leadership, and as quick as we can get them into areas that they can innovate and make a difference. And you see that all the time. And I think that that's why, you know, it's so cool what you're doing is, you know, taking that private sector approach and, you know, trying to get them back, you know, so they can do those things that we need them to do, you know, create technologies that'll change the world. So, you know, I really appreciate that. And we couldn't have found a better place to park that money and use it to an amazing benefit. You know, last question here, Chris. I gotta say, you know, I love the deck, VeteranCards.co. They're $20. It's unbelievably cheap. You can share them with your friends. You can do whatever. They go to a great cause. Who's the person who gave you the most flack about the cards?
He's actually a really close friend of mine, somebody I really admire, but he definitely always keeps me in check. And that person would definitely be Ian Faison, for sure.
Yeah, no, you deserve every minute of it. Okay, everybody, thanks, gents. I appreciate it. Look at VeteranCards.co. They're $20, like I said. It's an easy way to support entrepreneurship and get it out there. And I appreciate all your guys' time.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.